was a typical Saturday morning. I was crazy sleepy as I worked the graveyard shift at a local video bingo joint. But I had to go over to my grandma's to make sure all 3 of her dogs were inside, so I can let my 3 out to do their usual business. We live in an apartment in a family property with a fenced-in yard on 1 acre with a dog called Kai and another 2 dogs my mom rescued, Tibby and Bonnie. Me and my grandma always had to let our dogs out separately because Kai and my grandma's dog Dexter never did and never will get along. They were 2 unaltered males who weren't socialized properly and would fight each other whenever they came around one another. Me and Grandma did our best work to make sure they didn't fight. Well, we had slip-ups, but there's never been anything serious. Until this fateful Saturday. I walked over to my grandma's to ask her if her dogs were inside so I can let mine out. Luckily, Dexter was still in his kennel, so I went and let my 3 dogs out, then proceeded to hang out and have a bowl of cereal at Grandma's as I waited for my dogs to do their business so we can rotate them like we usually do in order to avoid confrontation between Dexter and Kai. A little while after I let my dogs out, Grandma let Dexter out of his kennel as she usually does because we thought nothing could happen as long as he remains in my grandma's fence. Suddenly, my great aunt was walking up the sidewalk, opened the fence's door just as she let Dexter out. And as we expected, Dexter immediately went to the door, and upon seeing it open, he ran past my aunt despite our commands to come back. And then it happened. Kai saw Dexter leave the house, and before any of us could do anything, Kai went straight for him. So the dogs began to fight. I quickly set my half-eaten bowl of cereal down and rushed outside to help my great aunt break them apart. But Kai was really out for blood this time, and Dexter didn't show any signs of backing down. I had Dexter by the collar and scruff, and I was doing the only thing I could to get Kai off him. I kicked Kai while my aunt was hitting him with a rake handle. Eventually, we got them apart, but Kai still wasn't finished. All he could think of was Dexter's throat and how he can tear it apart. And there he went, but this time, his teeth lashed on my right foot. In that moment, I remembered every warning my family gave me about not getting in the middle of a dogfight like this, especially between 2 large dogs like Kai and Dexter. My next thought was, oh no. Kai began to shake his head vigorously. He brought me down while my aunt continued hitting him. I have never seen Kai so aggressive, and even thought that was where I die. After being hit repeatedly by my aunt, Kai finally let go of my foot and I managed to get on my feet and hop to my door. I was in so much pain and didn't realize how big my wound was until I looked down and saw 2 huge gashes on my foot with my blood everywhere on the floor. My aunt rushed to her car while Grandma tried to stop the bleeding. She tried everything from pressing the wounds with a piece of cloth to pouring ice water onto my foot. She was shocked. I kept reassuring my grandma that I was okay. A few minutes later, my aunt came with the car. It was difficult just to try to only stand on my left foot since my right one is a mess, but I sucked it up and made it to the car. My aunt rushed me to the hospital while calling my mom and telling her what happened. Not long after getting to the hospital and getting my foot x-rayed, my mom stormed in and screamed, "Which one did it? Whichever one it is, it will be a dead dog." She was angry. I told her it was Kai and stood my ground that there's absolutely no way that we're killing the dog. The doctor came out of the x-ray room and said it may take quite a while to recover, but luckily nothing was broken. That's when my mom finally started to calm down. As a result, I got 12 stitches and a tetanus shot. Despite Kai not being up to date with his vaccines, they didn't bother giving me any rabies shot and told us to quarantine him for 10 days and monitor his behavior, and that's just what we did. And of course, Kai didn't act any different, and what happened didn't change how I feel about him. Having Kai has been a blessing. He always makes me happy, always so excited to see me when I come home. The one who comes and snuggles with me whenever it's cold outside. And most importantly, I was sure Kai didn't mean to hurt me.